and really enjoying it. But one of the things that have happened recently was that Clubhouse, if a lot of you have heard of that, Clubhouse started what they call a Creators First program. So what they wanted to do was get behind certain creators to see if they can find them sponsorships or just whatever it's going to take to get an idea to put that show or whatever they're going to be doing. 5,000 people submitted their applications. 60 was chosen. I was one of those 60. So each one of us are giving what they call a pilot show date. And out of that date, depending on the audience size, the participation, the conversation, they would choose 20 finalists or final people to get behind, sponsor the show, finding other people. Now, one of the exciting part about this, Billy, is that we're talking about ufology, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And for a company such as Clubhouse Corporation, worth $4 billion today to get behind this subject matter at this day of time, I think in allowing us to present it to the audience and henceforward being able to have an opportunity to be one of the finalists, I think it's phenomenal. It's just a phenomenal thing. So, and to have you a part of that, when I called you up, I said, hey, buddy, I need your help. And you was like, hey, man, let's do this for you. Let's do it for the community. And you was helping me. And so I really appreciate it.
Hey, look, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad you reached out to me. I'm glad I was able to find that email and that we were able to, link up. And because, I think you're really interesting. I think you're really passionate about what you're doing and trying to bring forward as much valid evidence and information about this UFO phenomenon and what it's all about. As you know, I've been digging into UFOs for a very long time. And what I've been able to do is link these UFOs to ancient text, like the Manas of the Indian Vedas and the Mahabharata and the wars that were fought in super ancient times between these ancient races with each other over the control of humanity on this planet. And I think that there are a lot of good beings out there in the cosmos. And I think that, for whatever reason, unfortunately, we had been taken advantage of for a period of time from a group that wasn't as spiritually advanced as a lot of the other entities that exist in this cosmos, sentient beings that exist out there. And because of that, we fell prey to them, for a period of time. But now it's our time. It's our time to get the knowledge, understand what happened in the ancient past, understand what's going on now, and prepare ourselves for a much better future.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think that especially with the time that the disclosure now is coming up on us, and we're getting more information, especially if most of your viewers know in the last week, you're talking 60 Minutes, CNN, and all of these things. And I think all of it is lining up. And it's almost like that Ray Kroc statement, being in the right place at the right time and then doing something about it, and I spent years trying to study that situation. And now I find myself in the right place at the right time, delivering the right message and also being a conduit for other people with the message. And this is real exciting to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's the exact date and time of the event?
The exact date is this Thursday, and that's going to be 9 p.m. Central Time. It's going to be on the Clubhouse app. And for all your listeners, it's definitely available on the iPhone and Android now. It is by personal invite. So if you know anyone that could invite you, if not, you can definitely hit me up some kind of way. Basically, in fact, I have a text they can use, which is the 972-784-8414 number. And if you text invite there or hashtag, you'll get a link as well. Now, I would like to tell them who else is going to be there with you. Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
Okay. So, of course, y'all know the greatness of Billy will be there and in full force on Clubhouse with us that night. We're also going to have Kathleen Martin. And if you guys heard of her, she's the niece and the author of The Capture, which is the Barney Hill in Betty story. Betty and Barney Hill, which was abducted. And if you heard about that history, great book, great story. Barbara Lamb is going to be with us. Of course, Barbara is a hypnotherapist, regression therapist, and she's also known for her work with crop circles and hybrids and everything else. And there's some great stuff there. Alan Stanfield will be there with us. He's the author of Making Contact.
Yeah.
His new book has just been released. And it's one of the top books right now in UFO world. And I think people ought to definitely take that, because the subtitle is Preparing for the New Reality of Extraterrestrial Existence. And that is going to be powerful right now.
Yeah.
And then we have Whitley Strieber from Communion. He's got one of the great books on abduction, and he's also done a lot of reporting. And then, of course, your friend Linda Moulton Howe is going to be there. And
Yeah.
so we all are familiar with her work, filmmaker. She's done countless of investigation reporting. And of course, she has several books and things out herself. I mean, just a powerful woman. And I think with the combination of all of you guys together, and we're going to talk about disclosure. We're going to talk about a little bit the past, but mainly going into disclosure in the future. I think we have a shot not only for the attendance of people coming in Clubhouse saying, hey, this is a great pilot. Let's move forward with this. And then at the same time, having someone behind us with the times that we're in now in disclosure. So I think it's going to be great.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing Linda's face and talking with her. Well, I'm actually doing a workshop. It's actually a conference, a virtual conference, a disclosure conference with Linda. And that's going to be July 17th. That's an 11-hour conference, 11-hour virtual conference.
Well, I'm gonna definitely be there, because I know, man, you don't do nothing but put on some great content shows, and I think, man, just what you're doing in the community, period, is just bar none. And I'm really just blown away with all of the reach that you have done, and it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm really optimistic, man, about where we're going. I remember starting to research these UFOs back in 1977, using the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Wow. Okay.
No cell phones, no cable TV, no pagers, beepers, no Cartoon Network. None of this stuff was out there. Just going into the encyclopedia, spending, hours, countless hours in those books, and just researching aerospace, trying to find what I myself had witnessed, and I never was able to find it in an actual book, obviously, but it led me on this path. And much later in life, when I was at ESETI Ranch in Washington State, I was out there doing a 7-day conference with Jimmy Church. And it was about maybe, I would say, 200 or 300 of us out there in what they call the Field of Dreams, watching 15, 16 UFOs in that one night.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it was amazing. We had the infrared binoculars. You could see some of them with the naked eye. Some came down on Mount Shasta, lighting up the mountain. And so it was amazing. So it was extra confirmation for me that, these things were real. Then you had the F-18s fly over looking for these things, and some Black Hawk helicopters. And it was like, wow, this is really amazing. They're trying to figure out what these things are as well, And so they're real. And I think that a lot of these civilizations are super, super advanced spiritually and technologically, and that they're watching and monitoring us. And their evidence is there that they've been monitoring us and watching us for a very long time. There are some stories that kind of get a little off skew in terms of the negativity or the negative aspect of some of these beings, which is, you have yin and yang in the universe. I don't think they're all good of anything, I just think that there's this yin and there's this yang. So you're going to have a lot of these advanced, powerful civilizations that are probably very peaceful and could be just monitoring for the purpose of trying to see watch our development and growth. And then you have some that may, be looking, how can they take this planet over? What can they do? But I think that they're being hindered or stopped from being able to do that, which is why we have this time in the sun for ourselves right now. This is our chance to shine, to show and prove who we truly, really are, how powerful we really are as people on this planet. And for us to overcome the hegemonic oligarchs that have been controlling and running this planet for so long, take back control of this planet, learn how to have unconditional love for one another, learn how to grow together, work together, and put aside all of our differences, cast aside all this divide and conquer tactic stuff that's been going on for eons, and really come together and build a great future for not only us, for also prosperity.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's I have a YouTube channel called Extraterrestrial Evidence, and um, the tagline for what I do is called still like X Files. I want to believe it's time to believe. That's my tagline, right?
Right.
And I think even when I was 12 or 10, I saw my first UFO. I live in Dallas, so I was over about a Dallas zoo area, and one late evening, I was just looking up. It was a white disc flying by, and two jets was flying behind it. And at
Wow.
that time, I didn't realize the significance of the moment in my life, but I just like, wow, what is that? And
Yeah.
but it also stirred the movement to start looking more at extraterrestrials, looking at everything. And I grew up in a neighborhood. It wasn't too good. I mean, there was gangs and there was different people, and
Yeah.
you could be the neighborhood bully. You could be the one that everybody wouldn't say anything to.
Yeah.
Walk up and take their money. But if you turn around and say, I saw a UFO last night, street cred gone.
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 Yeah.
It just crashed. Like, what? 5-year-old slap you now, like you're crazy,
Exactly.
So imagine, going through that, as you grow older with this topic and everything else. And so I think what's going on today is not only vindication, for people that's been following it and going on. I think it's and then it gets deeper. Something you were saying as far as on more of a higher consciousness, spiritual level, or because
Right.
I grew up in a time, and today I still say I'm Christian. I still say, I believe in Jesus Christ. But hey, wait a minute. My knowledge is going higher and higher, because here I am was to believe a story of a person that's been resurrected and all this, but yet I can't believe a scientist
Right.
that has proof, or a pilot, or somebody saying, hey, I saw a UFO and we got it on radar. I'm not supposed to believe those stories, right?
Right.
So I think that the correlation of where it's crossing now, it's going to be pivotal. And people like you, not only with the forbidden knowledge, knowing the truth, and being able that person to get down in there and get us that information and putting it out here the right way is very significant in need today. So
thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. I think really obviously amongst Black people, talking about, like you were saying, UFOs is extremely taboo. We're talking about anything, talking about meditation, talking about yoga. It's now starting to become accepted now. But I mean, I remember, even just 5 years ago, meditation is, devil worship, yoga is devil worship, anything so, and it's like that because unfortunately it's been programmed into us like that, through the system of slavery. The institution of slavery really has set us back quite a bit in terms of a race on this planet. It really has put us back far, far behind a lot of the other races, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
But what I like to tell people, and the reason why I do this stuff and try to have enough courage to come forward and talk about this, is because it's time for us to grow up and wake up and reprogram us. We have a lot of those bad epigenetic memories inside of our body, passed down through the RNA from the father's side, from all of our ancestors 15 to 20 generations ago. We're operating off that same mentality. And so our ancestors are calling out to us directly from on a genetic level. And so that's why a lot of us are suffering from PTSD and suicidal thoughts and depression and everything else. And we're going through this and we don't understand why. And we're latched on to this, this religious institution that has been kind of forced, beaten, and raped into us in the ancient times. And now we're still holding on to it, not typically because we really have a true, real passion for it, to be honest with you. It's just part of our culture now. It's been bred into it. And it's not because we have any true, real knowledge of what happened back then. We're just regurgitating information. And so now I just felt like, it's really time for people to get the true and real ancient past, the real knowledge, and learn where all this stuff came from, and understand that this stuff came from people that weren't from this planet, because our ancestors beyond the slavery times, if you go to any ancient text, the Dogons, the Zulu, all these ancient tribes, the Aboriginals, the history is people from space came to this planet in ships. They taught us how to build. They taught us knowledge and wisdom. They taught us how to create civilizations and everything else. This has now been your verbal handed down history for thousands of years before the whole institution of slavery even showed up. So we got to get back to our roots. That's our true roots. We got to get back to understanding that there are space family, there are space brothers, so to speak. there is knowledge and wisdom that comes from people from other planets, and they're real. They're not fantasy. They're real people. And when any advanced civilization runs into a less advanced civilization, the less advanced civilization automatically deifies the highly advanced civilization, and creates a cosmos.
Except where we are today, right? Nobody wants to. We can't keep up with the technology. We can't catch them, but we still, it ain't nothing there, So
yeah, exactly. Denial,
yeah.
and so that's where we are. But it's changing, because I can start to see people now more talking about things that would have been completely taboo just a few years ago. And so it's really encouraging, man. It's really exciting to see the turnaround happening. So there's a process happening as we head into this age of Aquarius, and really officially starts in 2025. People think we're there already, but we're not. The age of Aquarius, which is the age of understanding and knowledge and gaining wisdom in a significant bound, is starting, in 20. So we're prepping for that now. So we're seeing that growth. It's like the stock market going up. We're seeing that rise, that steady rise. And, it's going to be an amazing next 10 years.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, and I think that, you said something that was really profound. And I think that it should hit home. I tell my story, how I became on Clubhouse, in which it was a phenomenal story. There was a time I was married. I just recently went through a divorce, probably over a year now. And the ex-wife would not get down with any program of conversation about UFOs in my house. It was just not happening. And she was more, into the Bible side of things. And of course, I'm where I am because, like you said, I still have, where else am I going to go right now? Right. And so, but I do know there's another place I need to be with this, and now as I study some of your teaching and all of these things, it's answering a lot of those questions that I had, that I felt inside. But back to the house, it was not a conversation. Now, I'm a UFO investigator. I used to have to watch Ancient Aliens at night while she would go to bed. But then at the same time, as a husband, why are you not in the room? Why is this? But I knew there was something else. And so I joined Clubhouse just to talk to maybe 20 or 30 people at the time. I formed this club, and now it's 14,000 people. I do weekly shows, and that's weekly with 2 E's, not WEAK. And it's phenomenal. But I could have been silenced because I was going to be the good husband, which I am or was, and just leave it alone because it was just bothering my spouse, right? But hey, we have our issues, had issues, so it's more bigger than that. So where I'm going with this, there's a lot of people that can't talk about what's happening today, can't get into that conversation based upon the spiritual background or the religious background, the foundation of what they think is the foundation, and they just can't get and wrap their head around it. So I think our community be one of the most effective communities. As this thing is coming out and being more revealed, we're going to lose our mind in some cases. But I think, with people like yourself, as we disseminate this message out and get people familiar that, hey guys, this is history, this is DNA. This is where we come from in some cases, and so people have to adapt to that. And that was one of my missions too, was to be a voice in our community, because I knew people talk about it. And I knew you standing here on the top, and by yourself in some cases, and because people are like, what? Now we got people support you, but I think to walk beside you and also, hey, look, he's right. Here's where it is, and let's spread this information. And that I'm part of that program with you. So yeah,
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's been a lonely road.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a people don't understand how lonely. Well, you probably do, obviously, but a lot of people, when you have this kind of information in your head, and all the years of study and research that I've gained and put together, and all the pictures that I've put together, a mosaic. I've seen how everything pretty much, and how everything is working and operating and functioning, and then to barely be able to express that to people because they just won't even be able to grasp it. And to be honest with you, I've given out online of all these years now, I've only given out 1/10 of everything that I know.
Yeah.
1/10 of 1%. If I told everything, people would run down their street, pulling their hair out, screaming. it's just a lot. It's too much. It's information overload. But I've got to walk around with Googles of information in my head, every single day, and it's not easy. It's not easy,
Yeah.
So,
And I can imagine, man. And I know exactly where you're talking about. And at the end of the day, the challenge is, you want to be a servant leader. You want to be the one that help people, and
yeah,
but then over here, the handcuffs is not on you.
right,
I always tell people, it's kind of a saying, the eyes are useless when the mind is blind,
right,
and if they're not going to use their eyes to see what's there in reality,
mhm,
it's just useless because the mind is not going to interpret it without that, right? And so some people don't even want to look at the information. They don't even want to,
yeah,
oh no, 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 and then they'll go, but UFO real for real? Yeah,
yeah,
man, yeah. I
yeah,
get that all the time, right? No, no, dude, is it for real?
yeah,
Then after about 10 minutes of therapy,
uh,
then they'll go, yeah, I saw one too.
right, right,
Dude, we could have just come on, just join the club, and it's not that bad. It's just the consciousness of it, and I think, people ask me all day long, and Roderick, I don't never see any. Well, you don't look up, just look up. Who walks around? But if you do, our
mhm,
chances are you're gonna see something at some point. Yeah. Because
yeah.
they up there all the time. So
Oh, especially if they're in an area where there's very little light pollution, very little
yes.
light pollution. If
Yeah.
it's a nice area where it's dark, really dark, away from the city, just look up. You're going to see the movements consistently. It's not even hard to see, not even hard to find. They
Yep.
are up there all the time, And the fact that we're still here after everything we've done to this planet, it tells you that they're not out here. They're not coming to kill us and invade us to the point where they're going to take away the planet from us
No.
and eradicate us and all these other kind of thoughts. That's Hollywood. The fact that we're still here begs to tell us that, hey, guys, we're just watching, but you guys got a little growing up to do. They've gone
Yeah.
and deactivated our nuclear warheads at different military facilities in broad daylight, as testified by actual military
Yep.
nuclear physicists and nuclear officers and guards of the missile silos. And so this is not even hidden information. That's well, easily sourced information. And what they're saying is, look, we're turning these nukes off. We're letting you know that you're not going to blow up this world. You're not going to destroy this planet. And if they were going to do anything to injure us, kill us, eradicate us, it wouldn't be coming guns a-blazing and all of this stuff. They'd probably just send out a sound wave frequency, or drop something in
Something
our
simple. Yeah.
boom, boom, easy. We're there a
Yeah.
million years ahead of us in some cases. So it would be very easy to do so. But the fact that we're still here is telling us that there's no malevolent intent. I believe at this moment, I believe that it's all open for us to give us a chance to grow up. Right now, we're trying to crawl. Eventually, we'll be walking. And even when we start walking, we'll fall. We'll stump because a baby takes a few steps, falls down.
Yep.
So things will look phenomenal for a little while, then we'll collapse again, and we'll get up and we'll remember why we fell and we'll walk until we get a strong walking gait. So it's a process, and that's what me and you are here for. We're here to continue to be like the pioneers of ushering in this new understanding that these are real. These are all real life forms. These are real people. These are real UFOs. They exist, whether interdimensional, multidimensional, third
Yep.
dimension. They're all over. But I believe that there's life in every single dimension, even. So they're here, and we're just the new kids on the block trying to figure out what in the heck is going on out here.
And you make a great point, and I think I've heard you mention it before, and we use the analogy of ants, and I tell people, and even the audience right now. So picture yourself sitting on your front lawn, with your husband and wife, significant other, or just chilling, okay? And all of a sudden in the corner of the lawn, you see a big explosion of fire. And you look over there, it's an ant nest. You're like, what the heck are they doing over there, right? Wouldn't you go over there to observe, to see, making sure these ants don't burn down your yard,
Yeah.
And that's my analogy of them seeing us too,
Mm,
What
yeah.
are they exploding over there? These nuclear weapons. Now, like you said before, and I mentioned, they got the power to destroy the whole
Yeah.
nest like that.
Right.
And we do too. We can go and destroy a whole ant pile any kind of way we want with better technology than the ant can imagine, and just sprinkle a little dust on there,
Yep.
and the ant don't even see it coming, right? And so it's just the technology above what it is. And but at the same time, people ask the question, well, how come they just don't park themselves on the lawn and just pop out? Well, they're higher consciousness than we are. They have a little more compassion. They know if they got out what it would do to our psyche. So they're not going to destroy civilization mentally by just popping up and jumping out. They're going to, it's just going to be a slow, but then we're forcing them with all these weaponry, all these explosions, and opening up possible wormholes and all this catastrophe, killing the planet, that they have to come down a little more closer, because after all, we are the future, right? And you don't want to destroy the future when it comes down to that. And so it's just intricate. And I go back to the movie. You remember the movie Stargate, the original movie?
Yeah.
And Ra, the sun god, right?
Yeah.
And the one scene that stick out the most is when he took the atom bomb from them.
Yeah.
And he looked at him, he said, boy, y'all advanced a lot. Y'all harnessed the power of atom. And so it just goes back to how he said, I set you up, but I didn't think you was coming this far. We got to shut this mess down. So I thought that was a great scene.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I believe these civilizations have a protocol in place, where if they, they can observe civilizations, but the amount of interaction is extremely limited, only under certain probably rules of engagement are they allowed. And another thing, besides like what you were talking about, and them just popping up on the front lawn of the White House and hopping out, is we have these scalar weapons that we keep using to attack these UFOs, and we have been doing that since the 1940s.
Okay.
And trying to bring them down. And so we want to steal their technology. And so they stay in this multi-phasic state. They stay cloaked in on ultraviolet or multi-spectrum colors, so that the human eye can't pick them up. Certain camera systems can't pick them up. And the reason why is because we're trying to blow them up. We're trying to blow them out of the sky so that we can capture them.
And we actually the threat to them, you know what I mean, versus them to us. Yeah. So.
Exactly. We're the threat. I mean, when you look at the world itself, you kind of really look at all the countries that we have tried to bring democracy to, right? And so you really find out who the real threat is. It's typically not the guy on the camel.
Yeah.
It's typically not the guy on the camel, unfortunately. So we're a real serious threat. We're a real serious threat, and everything, as soon as we see one, we scramble F-18s after it,
Yeah.
Or trying to shoot at it. What are we shooting at this thing for? First of all, it's outmaneuvering you. Why would you even want to think
can't even
about
keep up with it, and yeah.
I mean, so it's all, it's all about, we're pretty aggressive, and we got to really find a way to overcome this aggressiveness, this warring nature that we have. I don't think it's the majority of the people on the planet. I think, but you have these oligarch elites that run these military industrial complexes on the planet, and they get and recruit normal people like us to come in there and do their dirty work for them. And this has been going on since the biblical times. You read the book of Deuteronomy. In the book of Deuteronomy, you have these multiple gods, not one singular god, fighting against each other, using people as cattle. And they would recruit these people and tell these people, I'm your God. You go to this town over here and you kill everybody over here. And it's the same thing going on now, where we have these ruling elites that have us fighting each other, and they just keep making all the big profits. And so they see all of this. I mean, these are highly intelligent beings.
It's part of the, go ahead.
And they're just saying, listen, we can't really fully intervene, or we can't really help you guys get to the next level. We're going to monitor and keep this planet from being destroyed completely. But at the same time, we're going to give you a little bit of room to grow. But until 7.7 billion people wake up and realize that you can't let 100 families run the planet, there's nothing too much more we can do. I mean,
you're right. You're definitely right. And I think that, some of the things that you're putting together, rebuilding not only people's information through knowledge, but some of the processes of wealth and all these things that you have laid out. I think, people should understand that, it's a big vision, but also it's necessary. It
Yeah.
is necessary. And
Right.
so for you to have to go out to this by yourself, or to sit here and while the rest of the world of people are sleeping, and only to wake up to new information. But there's a lot that goes on while they're asleep. There's a lot goes on when people should just be awakened at all times, consciously,
Right.
mentally, and I think you're doing a phenomenal job when it comes down to this.
Get it.
And I say this in front, and I'm sure anyone else that's watching this live, if they want to, put it in there, you're not alone,
Yeah.
and I know sometimes it feels that way because I do it too,
Yeah.
and when these cameras shut down, or when I'm through talking to hundreds of people and I
Yeah.
walk back into that office to study, then you get new information and you go, well, what you want to share it instantly. I mean, you go, well,
Yeah.
the walls are just, but you gotta, you know what I'm saying? This ain't cutting it. But at the end of the day, you find a way to just calm it down. And like you said, you're still stacking up when we need to be pulling out that other 70% that you have,
Right.
But it's like the movie, you can't handle the truth. Uh, but I think we're ready. Some people should be ready, but we'll, one piece at a time, and just kind of do
Yeah,
that.
one piece
But
at a time. Some of the information is so advanced. Not that I feel like they'll be afraid of aliens, because some of it has even nothing
yeah,
to do with that. There's just so many different layers to this reality, and there's so many other possibilities and potentials, probabilities of planetary destruction. Even things dealing with the Earth itself. The Earth itself is a conscious being.
yeah,
Mother Gaia. This planet is conscious. All planets, moons, and suns are actually living beings. They're alive. There's a complete mycelial network directly underneath our feet that's like the underground internet that connects everything in the entire planet together. The planet talks. It has a frequency. It has a sound. It generates sounds into space. It talks to the other planets. The planet itself is giving us a small amount of time to wake up. The planet itself, I believe, is empathetic to human beings, and through its empathy, it's suffering on its own. It's actually
yeah.
being sacrificed slowly, but there's only so much that this planet is going to take. And at some point, this planet will reset itself, and it has reset itself 4 times in the past. And like the
Yeah.
Mayans, we're heading into the fifth age. So this is our fifth chance. This is our fifth chance on this planet. And with this planet, more evidence that this planet is alive is if you go to an oil well and you pump the oil out of that well until it's dry, and then you come back 10 years later, there's more oil in that well. That's because oil is the blood of the earth. The oil doesn't come from dead dinosaurs and plants. The earth is creating oil, just like your body.
Right.
If I take blood out of your body, for donation, blood donation or whatever, I take out a pint. Well, in a few more days, that pint's going to come back into your body automatically. Same exact thing with the earth. The earth is a living, sentient being, and it's being very patient right now. Very patient. So there are things that this planet can do. This planet is even, in my opinion, is even in communication with asteroids, comets. There's one called Apophis, which is actually an ancient Egyptian god.
Okay.
And Apophis slipped through a gravitational keyhole a few years back in its orbit around our planet. It actually swept right between the moon and Earth while everybody was sleeping. Nobody knew it was coming. I mean, I talked about it in 2008. What would it even take for it to come back again? And it went through the gravitational field, which means the next time it comes, it's going to scrape the atmosphere. That could be 2035, 2039, somewhere in there. Then there's another cycle where it comes back one more time, where it could hit. And this may be the thing that brings humanity together, where we have to realize we have to come together and we have to go on a mission together, a mission to move a giant asteroid out of its orbit to continue life on this planet. Because within the next 100 years, there's a high probability that it may, they could hit us, and it's about the size of Texas, and that could be
And I think
catastrophic.
they made movies like that,
Yeah.
where asteroid or something was coming and
Right.
everything else. But I think one of the things we got to be cautious about, though, Billy, is the false flag of an alien invasion to
Oh,
bring
that's
us
for real.
together.
That's for real.
And
Yeah.
so that's always going to be a possibility in the making to bring
Mhm.
us together in the more of a negative standpoint versus
Yeah.
humanity fight for survival,
Yeah.
as a
They're
species.
working on that,
But
right? They're working on that every single day.
oh yeah, we hear about that now, so
Yeah.
that's why I brought it up. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. You're totally right. It's always, the UFOs are a threat to national security. Well, what threat to national security? I mean, because they turn your nuclear devices off. They didn't
yeah,
launch
they didn't
it.
launch it. Well, just
Yeah,
turned it off. Just to let
yeah,
you know, man, we can just shut this down. Don't go
yeah.
there. Yeah.
And then
But
they fly our own top secret, unacknowledged black budget UFOs, most likely TR-3Bs. They fly over our ships and fly over our bases, and they say, "Oh, those are UAPs." But I think
yeah,
those are ours. We made them ourselves. You know.
but you think about, we spend so much time, and this is time trying to figure out what's up there,
Yeah.
and sometimes we miss what people are dealing with here on the ground
Mhm.
through everything, and I think that's another point. But the other part of this story or
Right.
point is, all right, we so worried about, they trying to get us so worried about the threat of what's out there, but on
Mhm.
the other hand, we're trying to get out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
anything, if something out there, you tell the kids, don't go outside right now.
Exactly.
Don't
Yeah.
don't go out that door to shooting or just whatever. We're saying, man, there's a huge threat out there, but over
Yeah.
here, the construction companies is trying to get over there.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Nonstop.
come on, please, yeah, nonstop,
You know,
24/7, yeah.
I mean, we
So
spent trillions of dollars going to Mars, trillions going to
yeah,
Mars. We spent multi hundreds of billions going to Venus, believe it or not.
yeah,
Even Russia sent 14 missions to Venus. So when you read your history book, they try to tell you, oh, Venus is uninhabitable and it's so hot that everything would be burnt up instantaneously and the barometric pressure and blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, Russia then landed probes on Venus and sent back video and audio,
yeah.
which is available, and there was something moving around on the ground, looked like a land crab when they landed there too as well. So they're just always trying to keep us distracted from what's going on. And I really do believe that there's a lot of life right above our head in our solar system, so Earth and all. No, I think it's right above our head. I think there's life on Mercury. They found billions of tons of liquid water on Mercury. I found anomalies on Mercury from the Mercury Messenger mission images,
Wow,
and two of them made TV. They were actually made the news. I found a city. Well, I can't say it's a city. I found anomalous objects that look like a city on Venus. Also
wow,
made the news. 450-mile across, and that was from the Arecibo before it collapsed. I got Arecibo from USGS.gov. I was able to get some real high quality radar images because we took a radar scan of Venus and came back with some phenomenal imagery from the surface because the radar penetrates the clouds and it looks like you're just looking at Earth. I mean, it literally does. It's incredible. So some of those
wow.
made
Definitely check that
news.
out. Yeah,
Yeah. Then you have Mars, which of course we found over 60,000 anomalies now on Mars. Even from the new Perseverance rover, we found anomalies pointing evidence to past life on Mars and even what I think looks like current life on Mars. And then the planet Ceres, which is right after Mars, which hardly anybody hears about it, CERES. There's another planet right there in our solar system, and it's got more fresh water on it than Earth has.
wow.
And when they flew by
And
it a few
wow.
years back, the lights were on. Yeah, so
Mm.
there's people living there.
Well,
People
see,
that,
you know what?
yeah,
And they
on
probably know
Ceres.
that. They just telling us we're trying to go to Mars, and they just go right on around and go to that colony or whatever's happening there. So it just, it's one
Yeah,
of those things right before our eyes. It's like right there.
yeah,
And that's why I said the eyes are
yeah,
useless when the mind is blind. Yeah, it just doesn't
that's
work.
right.
But
Exactly.
mm,
Yeah.
but you, man, like I say, you're on it. You're doing a like phenomenal job,
Yeah.
and the mission it's large, and again, it just requires someone like yourself, who is taking in that knowledge, and so that's one of the reasons I support what you do, and believe in not what you do but who you are,
Thank
and I link arms with the deal,
you.
and
Yeah.
go with it, and all in. So um and I know we won't get, into a lot of that on the clubhouse thing, but to
Yeah.
have you back to get deeper, we'll go more into disclosure Thursday night or a couple of days from now. But man, it's just this is phenomenal time. And again, I encourage everybody to begin the process of just going, like Arsenio Hall used to say, just start there somewhere,
Right. Right. Yeah.
and that should open up the dialogue, right? So,
Yeah. Absolutely. We just got to start thinking and being realistic, asking questions. I saw somebody in the chat was asking about, abductions. I believe that abductions are real.
mm,
Some people don't. Dr. Stephen Greer thinks that the abductions are all being done by the U.S. government. I can see
yeah,
them doing maybe some of them.
yeah,
However, and I love his work. I love it. I just interviewed him for a new series on Gaia. I think we just did a whole
okay,
season, 10 shows. But I think that there's so many abduction cases. We're talking over 7 million. I think the number is just too high. I don't think the government has enough bandwidth to be able to do 7 million abductions. But some of these go back even long before. I'm talking about some of them go back over 100 years. So there have been reports of this phenomenon for a very, very long time. So I do believe that something is definitely happening there,
yeah.
and it needs to be further looked into and further researched. I don't think it's totally. Maybe the government has done some, but I don't know if they've done 7 million or whatever the crazy number is at this point. And just too many similarities between these. And to me, I think that it's global. It's a global event. I don't know if our U.S. government's going to go and run over to I don't know, Russia and abduct somebody, or
Right.
somewhere in the middle of the Amazon and abduct some Indian person, a Native American indigenous Peruvian, you know. And so it just some of it doesn't make sense. Some of the people that have come forward and talked about, being abducted and having these situations occur. So I think there's a little bit more to it, and it needs to be looked at a lot deeper. And
I'm
so
sure
the
Whitney
thing
will
that is,
talk about that Thursday.
oh, that's perfect. That's great. I'm glad. That's going to be great. I definitely would like to hear from her and see what she has to say about it, because I believe it's a real phenomenon that is happening to real people on this planet. And whoever's doing it, I think they're a little bit more advanced than us. In most cases, I think there could be some false, some of these government abductions happening right now, trying to bring forward this fake alien invasion. But I think with so many people coming forward in the millions, I think that there's something there.
Oh man, it's and when I'm in Clubhouse and I do when we let people come and share their experiences, there's a lot of similarities in these stories, and some of these people are on one side of the world and the other side. But one of the things that uh, they're there to talk about their abductions. They're there to talk, which meaning they're bringing them back, and so we're not at a point where these people are coming up missing and not to
Right.
ever return for the
Mhm.
ones that we know. But the
Yeah.
whole point is that they all seem to have certain messages. Like tonight, I'm gonna be doing a YouTube live after this one with Anjali, which
Mhm.
she's the former defense intelligence officer that went public about her CE5, experience going into the mountains with the extraterrestrials.
Mhm.
Well, we've done a couple of series, but she's actually just had a regression done with Barbara and Lamb
Wow.
probably last week. So tonight, within when we get off of here later,
Yeah.
I'm going to interview her live, and we're going to talk about that what they discover in the regression,
Wow.
and I think that that's going to be an interesting information. But it
Yeah.
all appears that everybody I've talked to that's been abducted in certain ways, they all seem to come back with the message
Mhm.
that we're destroying the planet
I
in so
agree.
many contexts, And
Yeah.
so what coincidence is that? And I always say
Mhm.
coincidence is God's way of being anonymous, right? So
Yeah.
it's it's all of those things. And
Yeah.
so we got to do a better job, and for people to understand, that don't mean tomorrow we're just
Mhm.
gonna be wiped off of here.
Yeah.
But when we talk about linear time versus the way infinite time, I guess, if I'm saying it
Right.
right, it's just, so what they may be saying the planet is destroying could be done in a 100 million years, but so what? The end is the end is what they're trying to prevent. Let's not go
Yeah.
there. So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. I think we got to really make a big change on this planet as a species,
yeah,
and how we think about each other and how we treat this planet. And I give us maybe another 20 to 30 years, Or we could be looking at a situation, that this planet is just fed up and it's got to preserve itself. And so I'm optimistic though that it's going to happen. I just see too much awakening. I see too much happening. We still have turmoil going on, like what's going on right now in the Middle East and going on in
Yeah.
Palestine and things like that. And and it's unfortunate. Those kind of things are going to pop up from time to time. So and it makes everything look like it's going wrong when those things happen. When the
Yeah.
police start escalating with what they're doing in the United States, or we have these little things, these little outcroppings of these atrocities start to happen. It can give you the illusion that everything's going to pot, but I think that it's really not. I think those are isolated incidents that need to be addressed and worked on and fixed. But at the same time, I think there's still a lot of good going on. It's just the good is never really put out there in the media. It's always negative and things
Well,
that
it doesn't sell, right?
doesn't sell.
Imagine,
Yeah,
imagine how many people need to be part of forbidden knowledge, but it's too
right.
good stuff, and so,
Yeah,
we have to bring them in other ways, and I use that in context of saying, bad sales, and good, for the media, negative, negative, negative. That's what people want to focus on,
yeah,
but that's not where the action takes place. So,
right. Absolutely. So it's all a bit part of a process. And so I'm actually looking for somebody right now. I want to find an expert who's an expert on Israel and an expert on Palestine, so I can do a whole show where I want to hear both sides. I want to really get to the nitty gritty and understand and see maybe can I be a person that can be the middle person that can talk to both sides. Can I be the person that helps to try to figure this thing out and get them to see where how can we fix this? Because we got to move forward. We got a lot of work to do on this planet so
yeah.
that we can be a part of the space race. So we can take our which I feel is our birthright, is take our rightful place in space.
Well, and again, it's just going to be. It takes a beginning, a point, and like I said, yeah, it may take some wars or different things to get the attention to get
Yeah,
people to say, "Wait a minute, this is just, serious enough." And it's no different than us exploding these nuclear weapons to a point where they're like, we're going to go over here and visit these people. It's still a point. We try to let them just, yeah, but they just not getting it.
right,
And so let's just go over there and turn one of these things off. At least no mean no, but no,
right.
we
Yeah.
don't, we don't believe that,
Mhm.
oh, that's impossible. All right, let's shoot one, let's put a beam on it in the sky so they can know we can disable it at any moment.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Right.
Well, let's just fly over and a couple of other stations and just hover over all these nuclear points. Let's let them know we ain't bothering their McDonald's.
Right.
we
Yeah.
just go, we're gonna go over to the nuclear plants to
Right.
let them know this is what we're focusing on. But yet they're not, it's just not happening in a public sense because what happens? Our governments and people in power are spending much time getting us to
Yeah.
say that's number one, it's not happening.
Mhm.
And then number two, if it is, it's a threat, but not saying, okay, yeah, they visit us 1,000 times and nothing happened. But they visit us four
Yeah. Yeah.
times and man, that could be a threat. So where's the
Right.
numbers at?
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Exactly. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's
Yeah. You're right. So it's interesting. The nuclear bombs when you blow one up, it has a repercussion that reverberates through multiple dimensions. The
that was
intensity
my
of
point
splitting the
earlier.
atom,
Yeah.
you know, that level of intensity. So it even affects their time travel, their space travel, multidimensional travel, whatever the subspace network that they travel on, their subspace communication system that they use to communicate. It affects, multiple dimensions and multiple civilizations.
Yeah.
And so that's the big problem. And you also, you're an advanced civilization. You fly by this planet out here in the middle of nowhere on the kind of in the suburbs of the Milky Way galaxy. You say, "Oh man, the lights are on over there. Let me scan this planet and see
And
what's
see what's
going on."
going on. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. They got a lot of weapons. They're really protecting this planet. Oh, wait, no, wait a minute. Those weapons are pointed at themselves. We just checked the trajectories. Those weapons are
Yeah. Just
pointed
going up and coming back down. Yeah.
right
So
back down. And they coming back down without we don't even have an escape pod. So they got 3,000 nukes pointed at themselves and they don't even have a way to get off the planet when they launch them. and
Yeah.
not as intelligent as we thought, you know. So we got a lot of work to do.
And and it just what and that gives them to go, wow, that is just kind of primitive or stupid, and so we need to really just watch these folks a little bit,
Yeah,
and I think that's just one of the things that they're doing, and until as these nuclear weapons are getting more powerful and more powerful to a
mhm,
point, it's going to open up something that we're not
yeah,
going to like it. We're not going to like the outcome of it, and not have the technology to reverse whatever could possibly happen, with
yeah,
these explosions, and so it's
yeah,
just a matter of time that explosion is set off in space and not down here in this gravitational area that we're in,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so it's we just have to be careful, and I think for the most part now is to just give people knowledge is what you're doing, so that we at least can understand the possibilities, because
mhm,
our children is the future. So if we can
yeah,
equip them with tomorrow's knowledge today, then
mhm,
we may can have a better tomorrow anyway. So yeah.
yeah. I agree with you 1000%. So, guys, we're going to be on Clubhouse Thursday, 9
Yeah.
p.m. Central Time. The link I dropped here in the chat. Okay, I'll drop it in here one more time, real quick. It's the link to the Clubhouse. Get on Clubhouse. You can go. I think you can only get it on iPhones for right now.
No, it's both. It's Android and iPhone now.
Okay, Android and iPhone. Get the
Yeah, they
Clubhouse
released the
app.
Android about a week ago. So
Oh, cool. Okay, fantastic. And I'll add it to my Android then because I don't really use it. I'll have to. I've been walking around with the iPhone just to get on Clubhouse. I don't
hey,
really use it,
a lot of
you know.
people, right? But yeah, they're
Yeah,
on both of them now, and the
cool.
platform is rolling, and I think it's an
Okay.
interesting place, and to create a voice. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Well, we'll be on there. Name some of the guests one more time for me, Roderick.
Okay, so the greatness of Billy, who y'all see right here, he's going to be there and dropping some more knowledge as always. We're going to have Kathleen Martin. She is the author of several books, but one called Capture. She is the niece of the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, which is the interracial couple that was abducted back in the 60s, and just a wonderful story there, and one of the pronounced stories there. But we also going to have Barbara Lamb, which is she's a hypnotherapist, regression therapist. She also talks a lot about and did a lot of research on crop circles, hybrid, programs here and hybrid breeding. That is she talks a little bit about that. We got Whitley Strieber, which is the author of the book Communion. He's probably done about 60 different books, but he's also have done some reporting. So he's actually have the abduction and still communicates now, and he shows the implant that he still has in him that was placed in him. So we have Alan Stanfield,
Mm,
which he's a new author of the book Making Contact. He's also has a YouTube channel, New Realities, and so Alan is just he's a regular with us all the time. And of course, we're going to have Linda Moulton Howe, and of
mm,
course, she's just powerful in the industry of investigating
yeah,
reporting, and so she's going to share some stuff that she thinks now that people should be aware of. Because one of her questions to me was, are you being regulated on Clubhouse? If I come there, I said, no,
yeah.
no, this is we have full autonomy. We can go in it. She said, okay, then I'll bring it. And that's where come on, and so I'm just excited that 2 years ago, I'm watching all of y'all on TV,
Yeah.
and I'm saying to myself, though, one day,
Mhm.
I'm going to meet and work with these people, because these
Yeah.
are the people I want to be. And here I am today. So it's
Yeah.
possible for anybody to understand when it's all lining up like it's supposed to,
Yeah.
nothing will be the same ever again. And that's what's going on in my life. And so, Billy, I just want to appreciate you
Thank you.
right now, and just in the now, and what they say, give you the kudos now,
Hey, thank you, man.
and yeah,
Brother.
give it to you now, So I'm just excited. So you guys, yeah, y'all hop on Thursday. Let's really show the community of Clubhouse that ufology is a subject, is a topic. The more people we have there, the greater it is. This is a pilot show. With the show goes the way it needs to, we can get, uh, you know, final winning and go on to an episode, a season with Clubhouse, sponsored by them or sponsors, which I think is a wonderful magnitude of, you know, just for our community of ufology and everything else too. So I'm just ready. I'm ready. So that's what's going to happen.
Beautiful. Excellent. Hey, I
Okay.
appreciate it. Thanks for coming on here with me. I think we're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitter and Facebook at the same time. So quite a few people got a chance to hear and see this message, and it's going to be saved so they can go back and watch it again automatically.
Okay. And tell them jump on my Instagram. You know, I have an Instagram, is the UFO Syndicate, and then a YouTube channel as well, and Twitter at Roderick Martin. But also I'm on your app too, so they can follow me on there too. So yeah.
Okay, on United 99.
Yeah, why not? And if you're not on it, you need to be on it. It's time to, hey, you know, bring it all. Let's come. It's a great place, a great app. It's part of the future.
Right, app. Thank you, sir. Roderick, Roderick.
That's it.
And Grant. What's the last name? How do you spell the last name again?
Oh, Martin. Martin.
Martin. Yeah, Martin. Okay, Martin. And I've been putting it on Clubhouse. That's what I'm typing in the comment box here.
Yeah.
I want everybody to come follow. I'm typing, telling them to come follow you on Clubhouse.
Oh yeah. They can follow me on Clubhouse, and then they can join the club Extraterrestrial Evidence. That's the one I founded on Clubhouse as well. And then there they can find in the bio is a text number. You can text the word hashtag UFO, and you get on our community text and be part of some of the alerts, breaking alerts when things happen in real time. Because, you know, with being on the MUFON, you know, I'm covering cases all the time, and I like to keep the community informed. And then oftentimes I'll do a show where I'll just tell the audience, tell me where you live. I can't give you the witness data, but I can tell you how many UFO sightings in your area and what's happening in your town and your skies. And I usually do that a lot. So
beautiful. All right, man, this is fantastic. Somebody wants to know what is your YouTube account? Do you have YouTube?
Yep, it's Extraterrestrial Evidence. Since it's not as big as everyone else yet, or big as I am today, but you could just type Extraterrestrial Evidence and Roderick Martin, then that channel will come up. But the channel name is Extraterrestrial Evidence. Cool. And yes, I can use some more subscribers, and because we're going to be doing a lot of information we're going to be putting out. And let me let the audience know that hopefully in a few months, you guys will see me on TV. I'm going to actually be hosting a new UFO show with one of the networks. I can't tell you who it is right now, but we're going to be shooting a 2-hour pilot, and I'm hoping to put in that work. And so in a few months, we'll start shooting, and I'm just excited about the future of all of that. So they will be on one of the major, networks coming out towards the winter. So
fantastic. Looking forward to it, man. Hey, thank you, man, for spending some time on my platform. I appreciate it.
All the same to you too, man. We in it.
We're gonna do a lot of work together. I'm looking forward to seeing you a lot more. We're gonna be doing a lot of things together. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again Thursday, or be on the Clubhouse app with you Thursday at 9 p.m. Central Time. So everybody, the link is in the caption. I dropped it multiple times. It's also already underneath this video. So wherever you're watching this, it's automatically saved there. You can just click the link in the caption and follow Roderick Martin and get on the Clubhouse. Be ready for that notification to come through for Thursday night. All right, 9 p.m. Central. We'll catch y'all later.
All right. Thank you, man. Talk to you later.
Catch you later, man.